Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to reach back, like way back, over 2,000 years to solve a problem that feels so modern. That feeling of having a goal, but just no energy, no direction to get there. We're going to dive into the timeless wisdom of Chanakya to find a way forward.
So this whole thing kicks off with a question from a young guy who would one day become a great emperor, Chandragupta. He feels lost, he feels demotivated, and, let's be honest, who hasn't felt that way? You know exactly where you want to go, but it feels like you've just got no gas in the tank.
Okay, so why does that happen? Why do we feel so lost even when we can see the finish line? Well, Chanakya's answer is it's kind of brilliant in its simplicity. He says maybe the goal itself isn't strong enough to pull you forward. And to explain this, he tells this really powerful story that I think is going to hit home for a lot of us.
All right, let's get into this story. It's about a farmer named Ramlal, whose biggest enemy wasn't bad weather or poor soil, it was his own inaction. It's a really sharp cautionary tale about the real price of just sitting back and doing nothing.
So see, Ramlal had a goal, and it was a pretty clear one. Have a great harvest, pay off his debts. But here's the catch. He figured planting the seeds was the hard part. After that, he just kicked back and decided nature could handle the rest. He literally outsourced his success. And this just lays it all out, right? The contrast is, wow. While his neighbors are out there day in and day out, actually doing the work, watering, fertilizing, fighting off pests, Ramlal, he was gossiping, drinking tea, and sleeping. He chose comfort over commitment every single time. And the outcome? Well, it was exactly what you'd expect, and it was devastating. His crops failed, and his debt just got bigger. This simple story is the perfect setup for Chanakya's core lessons on how we can avoid becoming a Ramlal in our own lives. Okay, so that's the big question, isn't it? How do we avoid that fate? How do we build a goal that's so strong it actually inspires us to act? Well, Chanakya laid out 6 incredibly powerful formulas or sutras to show us the way. All right, formula number 1. This is all about taking back what is maybe your most valuable and, honestly, your most attacked resource, your focus. It's simple. Focus on your race, not on everyone else's. Think about it. In a world where we're just scrolling endlessly, comparing our lives to everyone else's highlight reel, this advice is more critical than ever. Chanakya saw comparison as a maze that just wears you out. When your brain is constantly buzzing with, how did they get that? Or why am I so far behind? It just gets worn out. It's exhausted. And an exhausted mind, it can't focus on anything important. The moment you stop looking sideways and focus on your own path, your mind gets quiet. It gets powerful. It goes from being your worst enemy to your absolute greatest weapon. Okay, so once you've pulled your focus back in, the second formula gets right to the heart of the matter, your goal itself. Your goals have to be crystal clear, rock solid. Because think about it, an unclear goal is like a little boat just drifting in the middle of the ocean with no rudder. You need that lighthouse, right? That one bright light to aim for, no matter how stormy it gets. Chanakya says the biggest trap we fall into is trying to chase 10 rabbits at once. You end up catching none. You've got to ask yourself and be brutally honest, what do I really want? And just as important, why does it matter so much to me? Once you have that answer, you pick that one path and you stick to it, period. Now for number 3. And this is the fuel that's going to keep your engine running when things get tough. And trust me, they will get tough. This might be the most important thing we talk about today. Failure is coming. It's not an if, it's a when. But the secret is not to be afraid of it. Chanakya saw failure not as a stop sign, but as a teacher, as critical data for your next attempt. Look at Chanakya and Chandragupta themselves. Their first attempt at a rebellion? It was a total disaster, a spectacular failure. But did they quit? No. They learned from it, they rebuilt their strategy, and they came back stronger. A true warrior isn't someone who always wins. It's someone who keeps fighting no matter what. All right, moving on to formula number 4. This one is designed to make sure you never get stuck. You never get stagnant on your journey. It's so simple, yet so powerful. Never stop learning. The minute you think you've got it all figured out, that's the minute you start falling behind. Chanakya believed every single day is a fresh opportunity to get a little bit smarter.
He taught that, yeah, you can learn from books, you can learn from smart people, but you can also learn from your own screw-ups. Every single person you meet, every conversation you have is a chance to gain new knowledge. That mindset keeps you agile, adaptable, and always moving up.
Okay, let's get to formula number 5. This is the engine that actually drives this whole thing forward. It's all about good old-fashioned discipline and hard work. And what's great about Chanakya's advice here is how real it is. We're not talking about huge, impossible things. We're talking about simple stuff like waking up on time, maybe doing a little exercise. These small acts of discipline build the foundation for huge achievements. And he was very clear there are absolutely no shortcuts. And that brings us to our final formula, number 6. And this one ties everything together, bringing us right back to that story about Ramlal the farmer. The rule is never sit idle. You know that saying, an idle mind is the devil's workshop? Chanakya was all over that. He knew that when your mind is doing nothing, it starts to wander. And usually it wanders to some pretty negative places like doubt and anxiety. So even when you're taking a break, your mind can still be active in a good way. You can plan your next move, learn something new on your phone, just visualize where you want to go. This turns every moment, even your downtime, into a step forward. So when you put it all together, what do you have? These aren't just some ancient rules from a dusty book. This is a real, practical roadmap for tackling the challenges of ambition in our modern world. And in the end, it really all boils down to this one powerful idea. Winning the battles out there in the world, achieving your goals, finding success. Well, that all starts with winning the battle in here, inside your own head. So, as we wrap this up, I've got a question for you. Just think about it. Which one of these powerful formulas are you going to start with? Which one can you put into action like right now, today, to bring that energy and direction back into your life? The power to change your path is right there, waiting for you.